Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video we're going to be continuing our read aloud of The Secret Zoo, The Final Fight. Last time we finished we completed chapter 25, so we'll be starting with chapter 26 today. I hope you guys enjoy the read, and without further ado, let's jump into it. Chapter 26, 11:51. Noah took a step toward Charlie, his tail dragging behind him. The sounds of the raging river echoed in the confined space of the ravine, drowning out the other background noise. The Sasquatches began to spread out, grunting and growling, and reaching their powerful arms out to their sides. Noah tried to think of everything he had learned from Sam. Now was the test, and the fate of the two worlds was on the line. He tried to ignore his fears and concentrated on his hate for Charlie Red, knowing this was what a descender would do. "Get him," Charlie commanded. The Sasquatches charged. Noah spun, his thoughts and attention on the base of his spine, the place where Tamarin's tail, his tail, magically connected. The 15-foot tail slid along the ground, slinging mud everywhere, and took out the legs of the Sasquatches. The beasts fell over, sending tremors through the earth. Noah's normal instincts kicked in, and he said, "Leave! Get out of here and I won't hurt you." But the Sasquatches showed no signs of retreat. They stood and slowly advanced on Noah, their deadly claws ready to strike. Noah thought of what Sam and Tamarin and Hannah would do. They would attack. Descenders showed no mercy. He swung his tail high over his head and brought it down on a Sasquatch. The beast roared in pain and began to roll fitfully around in the mud, clutching its shoulder. "Don't hesitate," a voice spoke in Noah's head, a voice that was part Noah and part Sam, part scout and part descender. "Finish it." He raised his tail again and brought it down with as much force as possible, just missing the Sasquatch and splashing mud everywhere. Something struck Noah's side, and stars flashed across his vision as he fell onto the ground. Charlie Red hovered over him, but when Noah tried to get up, Charlie swung his baton and hit him again. "Get him," Charlie called out to the Sasquatches. "Crush him." Noah rolled onto his back and saw that the two uninjured Sasquatches were now standing by Charlie. He caught a glimpse of something on the river. Podgy. The penguin was floating by the fallen tree, stabbing at the primary portal with his bill, trying to free it from the branches. Noah also spotted Marlowe, darting back and forth above the water. Noah checked his watch. 11:51. Time was running out. One of the Sasquatches brought down its foot directly at Noah's head. Noah glimpsed the beast's plum-sized toes and then threw himself to one side, barely missing the blow. As Noah got to his feet, his tail dragged into place behind him. He pushed through the fog in his head and braced himself to fight. Two worlds needed him not to give up. Charlie and the two Sasquatches slowly spread out, forming a half circle around Noah. Charlie's oversized freckles looked like a terrible skin rash, and his red hair stood out in all directions, a messy mop with matted clumps. His hands dangled by his knees. Noah glanced at Podgy. The penguin was still desperately tugging on the curtain, unable to free it. Charlie's gaze followed Noah's, and he said, "Why is your fat friend so interested in that down portal?" Noah tensed up. He couldn't let Charlie know how important that portal was. He started to say something, but stopped, fearing the wrong words might come out. Charlie raised a bushy red eyebrow and studied Noah for a few seconds. Then, to one of the Sasquatches, he said, "Get the curtain." A Sasquatch turned and ran for the river, its arms swinging at its sides. "No!" Noah said, a bit surprised by his own voice. He swung his tail parallel to the ground, 4 or 5 feet up. His tail hit the back of the Sasquatch and launched it into the air. The beast splashed down into the river on the downstream side of the fallen tree, and the current dragged it off. Podgy, looking frustrated, dove into the water and then surfaced a few feet away, his flippers fanning the air. He soared into the new heights of the ravine, up and up toward the drawbridge, a shrinking black dot that soon blinked out. Noah stood there, baffled. Under his breath, he said, "Podge, what are you doing?" "Looks like your friend has better things to do," Charlie said with a crooked smile. "And now you're here, all alone." Noah stared at Charlie, his red eyes and the ugly splotches on his face. Then he checked his watch. 11:52. "Kill him," Charlie said to the remaining Sasquatch. As the Sasquatch charged, Charlie moved in simultaneously to attack. Noah readied himself again. He had just minutes to raise the portal, and Podgy, his only help, had deserted him. Chapter 27, 11:52. Mr. Darby fell forward so unexpectedly that he barely caught himself before he struck the cobblestone street. DeGraff had come out of nowhere, come out of the shadows, in fact. A boot pressed against the back of Mr. Darby's head, and his arms began to whip around. Just as he attempted to use one of his animal powers, his arms slipped out of his sleeves, and he felt most of the magic purge from his body. DeGraff had taken his jacket. He rolled over and saw DeGraff looming against the backdrop of the shadowy sky. A centipede crawled out of his empty eye socket, squirmed down his neck, and disappeared beneath the collar of his trench coat. Mr. Darby stood. The shadowist took a few steps and hurled the velvet jacket into a tree. Mr. Darby, knowing he'd never be able to quickly get to his jacket, took off running in the direction he thought Tank and the scouts were in. Before he could get far, DeGraff slipped into the shadows, appeared beside him, and knocked him to the street. Mr. Darby paused to catch his breath. After a few seconds, he tried to get up, but DeGraff shoved him down again. A voice rose in his ear, the radio waves that shared with the crossers. "Jordynn, you're right by us, 30 feet, and just to your left. Crawl if you have to." Mr. Darby lifted himself to his hands and knees and began to move in the direction Jordynn had mentioned. He couldn't see her or any sign of what she'd done with her specter powers. "Mr. Jackson," DeGraff said, "I have something I want to share with you." Mr. Darby didn't need to see DeGraff to know what he was referring to, his knife. "Crawl," Jordynn repeated over the airwaves. "You're almost here." Mr. Darby did, as fast as he could. And I'll stop the video there, ending chapter 27. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys next time in our continuation of The Secret Zoo, The Final Fight. And as always, guys, please take good care of yourselves and be safe, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.